The Tao that can be told is not the eternal Tao. The name that can be named is not the eternal name. The nameless is the origin of the universe. The named is the mother of all things. Thus, free from desire, one perceives the true essence. Full of desire, one perceives its manifestations. These two arise from the same source, but differ in name. This is the secret of secrets. It is the gateway to the secrets of all life. Everyone knows beauty as beauty because there is ugliness. Everyone knows good as good because there is evil. Being and non-being produce each other. Difficult and easy bring about each other. Long and short reveal each other. High and low distinguish each other. Tones and voice harmonize with each other. Front and back follow each other. Therefore the sage does without doing, teaches without speaking. All things arise, and he does not turn away. He gives them life but does not claim them as his own. He acts but does not appropriate. He accomplishes but claims no credit. Because he lays claim to no credit, the credit never goes away. By not exalting the talented, the people are kept from rivalry. By not valuing rare treasures, the people are kept from theft. By not displaying what is desirable, the people's hearts remain undisturbed. Therefore the sage governs by emptying people's hearts and filling their bellies, weakening their ambitions and strengthening their bones. He keeps the people innocent and free of greed, and ensures that the clever dare not act without contrivance, and everything will be accomplished in its natural order. The Tao is an empty vessel, used but never filled. Like the fountainhead of all things, its sharp edges are rounded off, its tangles untied, its light tempered, its turmoil submerged. The Tao is so profound and yet invisible. It exists everywhere and anywhere. I do not know whose child it is. It existed before heaven and earth. Heaven and earth are impartial. They regard all creations as straw dogs. The sage is impartial. He treats all people as straw dogs. None are especially favored, nor is anyone disfavored. Between heaven and earth, there is a space like a bellows, empty yet never exhausted. The more it moves, the more it produces. Many words count for less. It is better to hold fast to the void. The spirit of the valley never dies. It is called the mystic female. The gateway of the mystic female is the root of heaven and earth. It is an endless, subtle presence. Use it. It will never be exhausted. Heaven and earth are eternal because they do not live for themselves. Thus they endure. Likewise, the sage puts himself last, and so ends up ahead. He is detached and thus at one with all. Through selfless action, he attains fulfillment. The highest good is like water. Water benefits all things and does not compete with any. It dwells in the lowly places that all disdain, wherein it comes near to the Tao. In dwelling, be close to the land. In meditation, go deep in the heart. In dealing with others, be gentle and kind. In speech, be true. In ruling, be just. In daily life, be competent. In action, be aware of the time. No grasping, no striving, no fighting, no blame. It is because one does not compete with any that one is beyond reproach. Fill a cup to the brim, and it will spill. Sharpen a blade too much, and its edge will not last long. Pile up gold and jade, and no one can protect them. To be proud of wealth and honor is to sow the seeds of one's own downfall. Retire when your work is done. Such is the way of the Tao. In embracing the body with your soul, can you keep them from parting and concentrating your breath? Can you be as gentle as a newborn baby in cleansing your inner vision? Can it be without blemish? In loving the people and governing the kingdom, can you rule without interference? In opening and closing the gate of heaven, can you hold to the feminine principle as understanding reaches everywhere? Can you remain innocent, give birth and nurture, yet do not possess? Act without taking credit, lead without controlling. This is the profound virtue of the Tao. "30 spokes meet at a hub. It is the empty space in the center that makes the wheel useful. Clay is shaped into a vessel. It is the hollow emptiness that makes it useful as a pot. We make doors and windows for a room, but it is the empty spaces that make the room livable. Therefore, what is there creates the benefit, and what is not there makes it useful. The 5 colors blind the eyes, the 5 tones deafen the ears, the 5 flavors dull the taste. Racing and hunting madden the mind. Precious goods lead one astray. Therefore the sage provides for the belly and not the eye. He prefers what is within to what is without. Favor and disgrace are both startling. Misfortune comes from the idea of self. What does it mean to say that favor and disgrace are both startling? When we receive favor, we are startled. When we lose favor, we are startled. What does it mean to say that misfortune comes from the idea of self? We suffer misfortune because we hold to the idea of self. If we did not hold to the idea of self, how could there be misfortune? Therefore, those who see the world and the self as one, and who value and love the world as much as themselves, may be entrusted with the world. What cannot be seen is called the invisible. What cannot be heard is called the inaudible. What cannot be touched is called the intangible. These 3 cannot be fathomed, so they merge into one. Above it, there is no light. Below it, there is no darkness. Unceasing, unnameable, it returns to nothingness. It is the form of the formless, the image of the imageless. Meet it in front, and you do not see its beginning. Follow it behind, and you do not see its end. By holding to the ancient Tao, you can master the things of the present. If you know its ancient beginning, you know the essence of the Tao. The ancient masters of the Tao were subtle and profound. Their wisdom was unfathomable. Therefore, all we can do is describe their appearance, watchful like one crossing a winter stream, alert as if aware of dangerous surroundings, courteous like a guest, fluid like melting ice, simple like uncarved wood, open like a valley, obscure like murky water. Who can wait quietly for the mud to settle and the water to clear? Who can remain still until the moment of action arises by itself? One who embraces this way of the Tao does not fill oneself to the brim. It is precisely because one is never full that one is beyond wearing out and renewal. Bring about utmost emptiness. Abide in the truest tranquility. All things arise and then return to their origin. Everything flourishes and each returns to its root. Returning to the root is called tranquility. Tranquility is called resting in one's nature. Resting in one's nature is called constancy. Knowing constancy is called insight. Not knowing constancy leads to disaster. Knowing constancy is acceptance. Being accepting, one is impartial. Being impartial is the highest nobility. The highest nobility is to be aligned with nature. Nature is the Tao. The Tao is everlasting, not endangered by physical death. Of the best leaders, the people barely know they exist. Next come those the people love and praise, then those they fear, then those they disdain. Those who do not trust receive no trust. The great leaders speak little, works are accomplished, and tasks are completed, and the people say, "We did it naturally ourselves." When the Tao is abandoned, doctrines of morality appear. When intellect arises, hypocrisy grows. When conflict breaks out in the household, there are talk of loving parents and dutiful children. When the country falls into chaos, loyal ministers emerge. Give up sainthood and dismiss cleverness. The people will benefit 100-fold. Let go of morality and love will return. Throw away profit-seeking, and thieves and robbers will vanish. All of these are superficial and insufficient. Let this be what to rely on. See the simple and embrace the plain. Reduce selfishness and diminish desires. Give up learning, and you will be free from worry. Is there really a difference between yes and no? Is there really a difference between good and evil? Must I fear what others fear? All people are joyous, as though feasting upon an ox. As though mounting the spring terrace, I alone remain quiet, like a newborn infant not yet smiling, adrift with no place to belong. Others have more than they need while I have nothing. Others shine while I am dim. Others are sharp while I am dull. I drift like a wave on the ocean. I blow as aimlessly as the wind. I am different from others because I am nourished by Mother Nature. Dim and dark, yet within it there is essence. This essence is real, and therein lies truth. Throughout the ages, its name has never been forgotten. It remains the origin of the multitude of beings. How do I know the nature of the origin of all beings? I look within myself and see what is within me. The greatest virtue arises from following only the Tao. The Tao is elusive and intangible. Intangible and elusive, yet within it there is form. Elusive and intangible, yet within it there is substance. The flexible remains whole, the bent becomes straight. The empty are filled, the exhausted are renewed. Have little and you will gain, have much and you will be confused. Therefore the sage embraces the Tao. He does not show himself, therefore he shines. He does not insist on being right, therefore he becomes prominent. He does not boast, therefore he is respected. He does not pride himself, therefore he endures and grows. He does not compete with anyone, hence no one can compete with him. The ancient saying, "The flexible remains whole," is not an empty phrase. If you have truly attained wholeness, everything will flock to you. Nature is sparing of words. High winds do not last all morning. A downpour does not last all day. Who does these things? Heaven and earth. If heaven and earth cannot make things last, how is it possible for humankind? Therefore, those who follow the Tao become one with the Tao. Those who follow goodness become one with goodness. Those who stray from the Tao and goodness become one with failure. Those who conform themselves to the Tao lends them its power. Those who conform themselves to goodness, goodness lends them its power. Those who conform themselves to inefficacy, inefficacy lends them its ineffectiveness. He who does not trust enough will not be trusted. Those who stand on tiptoe do not stand firmly. Those who walk in long strides cannot keep pace. Those who show themselves off do not shine brightly. Those who insist on being right are not prominent. Those who boast are not respected. Those who pride themselves will not last long. To a follower of the Tao, these are excesses and should be left behind. Before heaven and earth existed, there was something nebulous, silent and still, standing alone and immutable, ever present and inexhaustible. It is the mother of the world. It is the Tao. I call it great. Great means constant flow. Constant flow means far-reaching. Far-reaching means returning. Thus the Tao is great. Heaven is great. Earth is great. Humankind is also great. Humankind follows the laws of earth. Earth follows the laws of heaven. Heaven follows the laws of the Tao. The Tao follows the laws of nature. Heaviness is the root of lightness. Stillness is the master of restlessness. Therefore, the sage always conducts himself in accordance with the essence of the Tao. Although surrounded by the splendor of wealth, he remains living a simple and ordinary life. How could a ruler of 10,000 chariots conduct himself frivolously? If one is frivolous, one loses one's foundation. If one is restless, one loses one's authority. Good deeds leave no trace. good words leave no flaws. A good plan needs no deliberate scheming. A good lock uses no bolts, yet cannot be opened. A good knot uses no rope, yet cannot be untied. Therefore the sage does not abandon anyone, for he is skilled at saving people. He does not abandon anything, for he is skilled at saving all things. This is called true enlightenment. Thus the kind person is the teacher of the unkind, and the unkind person is the job for the kind. If the teacher is not respected, and the student is not cared for, confusion will arise, however clever one is. This is the great secret. Know the masculine. Hold to the feminine. If you become the ravine of the world, the eternal virtue will not depart, and you will return to the state of a newborn child. Know the white. Hold to the black. If you become a model for the world, the eternal virtue will not falter, and you will return to the boundless. Know honor. Hold to disgrace. If you become the valley of the world, the eternal virtue shall be sufficient, and you will return to the state of simplicity. When the nature of simplicity is manifested, it gives rise to the myriad vessels. By applying simplicity, the sage can master all things. Hence, the Tao is a unified oneness that cannot be divided. Those who wish to conquer the world and control it, they cannot succeed. The world is a sacred vessel that cannot be controlled. One who tries to control it will fail. One who tries to grasp it will lose it. Some lead and some follow. Some breathe gently and some breathe heavily. Some are strong and some are weak. Some expand and some collapse. Hence, the sage avoids extremes, extravagance, and pride. Whenever you advise a ruler in the way of the Tao, counsel him not to use force to conquer the world, for this will only provoke resistance. Where armies have passed, thorn bushes spring up. In the wake of war, lean years follow. Therefore, good leaders do only what needs to be done. They achieve their results, but never abuse force. They achieve their results, but do not glory in them. They achieve their results, but do not boast. They achieve their results, but do not become proud. Force is followed by the loss of strength. This is not the way of the Tao. That which goes against it soon comes to an end. Weapons are ominous tools. All things detest them. Thus those who follow the Tao do not dwell upon them. In times of peace, the place of honor is on the left. In times of war, the place of honor is on the right. Weapons are ominous tools. They are not the instruments of a noble ruler. He uses them only when there is no other choice. He does not glorify victory, for to glorify victory is to delight in killing. Those who delight in killing will not succeed in ruling the world. In times of joy, the left side is honored. In times of grief, the right side is honored. On the battlefield, the second in command stands on the left, and the commander-in-chief on the right, as in funeral rites. Every victory is a funeral. When you win a war, you celebrate by mourning. The eternal Tao has no name. Simple like uncut wood, it seems insignificant, yet nothing in the world can command it. If a ruler could hold on to it, all would follow by themselves. Heaven and earth would unite and sweet dew would fall. People would live in harmony without any need for laws. As soon as one begins to divide things, there are names. Once there are names, one should know when to stop. Knowing when to stop, one avoids peril. The relationship of all under heaven to the Tao is like that of valley streams to the sea. One who knows others is intelligent. One who knows oneself is truly wise. Mastering others requires force. Mastering oneself requires strength. Those who are content are rich. Those who act with resolve have will. Those who do not lose their place endure. Those who die without being forgotten live forever. The great Tao is everywhere. All things are born from it, and it never ceases. It pours itself into its work, yet makes no claim. It nourishes everything, yet does not hold on to them. Ever desiring nothing, it may be called small. Yet all things entrust their lives to it, and it does not act as their master. Thus it may be called great. The sage never strives for greatness, and thereby greatness is achieved. Hold fast to the great Tao, and the whole world will follow. Those who come to it will not be harmed. They will meet no danger but find peace and contentment. Travelers stop for food and music, yet the Tao itself is said to be tasteless and plain. When you look at it, there is nothing striking to see. When you listen to it, there is nothing remarkable to hear. Yet when you put it into practice, it is never used up. If you wish to contain something, you must first allow it to expand. If you wish to weaken something, you must first allow it to grow strong. If you wish to destroy something, you must first let it flourish. If you wish to take something away, you must first give generously. This is called the wisdom of obscurity. The gentle outlast the strong. Fish cannot leave deep waters. A nation's powerful weapons should not be displayed. The Tao does nothing, yet leaves nothing undone. If rulers can follow the Tao, the world will transform itself naturally. If during the process of transformation cravings arise, I subdue them with the simplicity of the nameless Tao. Through the simplicity of the Tao, cravings fade away. Without cravings, there is stillness, and the world settles by itself. A person of true virtue does not try to be virtuous, and so is truly virtuous. A person of lesser virtue tries to be virtuous, and so is not truly virtuous. A person of true virtue does not force action, yet nothing is left undone. A person of lesser virtue is always acting, yet much remains unfinished. A person of true kindness acts without motive. A person of righteousness acts with intention. A person of ritual acts by force. When people do not respond, it compels obedience. When the Tao is lost, virtue appears. When virtue is lost, kindness appears. When kindness is lost, righteousness appears. When righteousness is lost, ritual appears. Ritual is the end of sincerity and the beginning of confusion. Therefore, the truly wise choose what is solid, not what is shallow. They hold to the essence, not to what is superficial. In harmony with the Tao, the sky is clear and spacious, the earth is solid and full, and all creatures flourish together, content with the way they are, endlessly cycling, endlessly renewed. When people interfere with the Tao, the sky becomes filthy, the earth becomes depleted, balance crumbles, and creatures perish. Therefore, the humble are the root of the noble. The low is the foundation of the high. Excessive honor is no honor. Do not shine like jade or clatter like stone. Returning is the movement of the Tao. Gentleness is the manner of the Tao. All things are born from being. Being is born from non-being. The superior student hears of the Tao and puts it into practice diligently. The average student hears of the Tao and sometimes holds to it, sometimes not. The lesser student hears of the Tao and bursts out laughing. If he did not laugh, it would not be the Tao. Therefore, the ancient proverb says, "The bright path seems dark. The path forward seems to lead backward. The smooth path seems rugged. The highest virtue seems like a valley. The purest white seems tarnished. Encompassing virtue appears incomplete. True substance seems changeable. The greatest square has no corners. The largest vessel takes the longest to complete. The loudest sound cannot be heard. The greatest image has no form. The Tao is hidden and has no name. Yet it alone excels in giving life and bringing all things to completion." The Tao gives birth to one. The one gives birth to two. The two give birth to three. The three give birth to all things. All things carry yin and embrace yang. Through the blending of the two, harmony is achieved. People despise being lonely, unworthy, and undeserving. Yet rulers once used these very terms to describe themselves. For sometimes by losing we gain, and sometimes by gaining we lose. What the ancients taught, I also teach. A violent person, one who lives in disharmony between yin and yang, will die an unnatural death. This is the essence of my teaching. The softest thing in the world moves freely through the hardest. That which has no substance enters where there is no space. From this I know the value of non-action, the value of teaching without words and accomplishing without action is understood by few in the world. Which is dearer, your reputation or your life? Which is more important, your life or your wealth? Which causes more pain, gain, or loss? Excessive attachment brings great cost. Those who hoard much lose much. Those who know contentment suffer no disgrace. Those who know when to stop avoid danger. It is in this way that one can long endure. The greatest perfection seems imperfect, yet its usefulness is never impaired. The greatest fullness seems empty, yet its use is never exhausted. The greatest straightness seems bent, The greatest skill seems clumsy. The greatest eloquence seems to stutter. Movement overcomes cold. Stillness overcomes heat. Clear and quiet stillness guide the world. When the Tao prevails in the world, war horses are retired to haul manure. When the Tao is absent from the world, war horses are bred in the countryside. No calamity is worse than discontent. No fault is greater than greed. Therefore, those who know when enough is enough will always have enough. Without going out the door, one can know the world. Without looking out the window, one can see the nature. The farther one goes, the less one knows. Therefore, the sage does not venture out, yet knows, does not look, yet sees, does not strive, yet accomplishes. Those who pursue knowledge accumulate something each day. Those who follow the Tao let go of something each day. They keep letting go until they arrive at non-action. Yet though nothing is done, nothing is left undone. True mastery is gained by letting things follow their own course. It cannot be gained through interference. The sage has no fixed mind. He is attentive to the needs of others. To those who are kind, he is kind. To those who are unkind, he is also kind, because the nature of his being is kindness. To those who are faithful, he is faithful. To those who are unfaithful, he is also faithful, because the nature of his being is faithfulness. The sage is one with the world and lives in harmony with it. People turn their eyes and ears toward him, and the sage cares for them as a parent cares for his children. Between birth and death, 3 out of 10 people die old. 3 out of 10 die young. And 3 out of 10 bring death upon themselves through the way they live. Why is this so? Because they live life too intensely. I have heard that one who truly knows how to live can travel through the land without encountering rhinoceroses or tigers. He can pass through a battlefield without being struck by weapons. In him, the rhinoceros finds no place for its horn. The tiger finds no place for its claws, and soldiers find no place for their blades. Why is this so? Because death has no place in him. All things arise from the Tao. Virtue nourishes them. The material world shapes them. Circumstances complete them. Thus, all things respect the Tao and honor virtue. The nobility of the Tao and virtue is not demanded, but arises naturally, creating without possessing, acting without taking credit, fostering without ruling. This is profound virtue. The beginning of the universe is the Tao. It is the mother of all things. By knowing the Tao, we come to know the world. By holding to the Tao, we can live out our days without suffering harm. By guarding the senses and closing the doors to desire, one can pass through life without hardship. Seeing the small is called clarity. Holding to the gentle is called strength. Use the light to return to clarity, and you will be preserved from harm. This is called following the practice of the Tao. If I had even a little sense, I would walk the great way and fear only straying from it. The great way is easy, yet people prefer side paths. When the court is filled with splendor, the fields are overgrown with weeds, and the granaries are empty. Some wear fine clothes, carry sharp swords, and indulge themselves in food and drink. They possess more than they can use. This is the way of robbers. This is not the way of the Tao. Whoever is rooted in the Tao will not be uprooted. Whoever embraces the Tao will not let it slip away. Their name will be honored from generation to generation. Cultivate the Tao in yourself, and you will become genuine. Cultivate it in your family, and your family will flourish. Cultivate it in your country, and your country will be abundant. To truly see the Tao, see it as it is. In a person, see it as a person. In a family, see it as a family. In a country, see it as a country. In the world, see it as the world. How do I know this is true? By looking within myself. One who is in harmony with the Tao is like a newborn child. Its bones are soft, its muscles are weak, yet its grip is firm. It does not know the union of male and female, yet its vital force is strong. It can cry all day, yet never become hoarse. This is perfect harmony. Knowing harmony is constancy. Knowing constancy is enlightenment. To overprotect one's life is called an ill omen. To control the vital breath with the mind is to act with force. What is overgrown will then decay. This is going against the Tao. What goes against the Tao will come to an early end. Those who know do not speak. Those who speak do not know. Close the mouth. Guard the senses. Soften sharpness. Dim the glare. Be at one with the dust of the earth. This is called the profound union. One who has attained this state is unconcerned with friend or enemy, with benefit or harm, with honor or disgrace. This is the highest state of man. Govern the country in accordance with the Tao. Take charge of the world by going along with the natural course. How do I know this is so? As for the world, the more prohibitions there are, the poorer the people become. The sharper the weapons, the greater the chaos. The more clever and cunning people are, the stranger the events that occur. The more laws there are, the more thieves and robbers appear. Therefore, the sage says, I take no forced action, and the people reform themselves. I remain at peace, and the people become honest. I do not interfere, and the people become prosperous. I have no desire, and the people return to simplicity. When the government is dull and does not meddle, the people are pure and honest. When the government is clever and meddlesome, the people become restless and poor. Bad fortune is what good fortune leans upon. Good fortune is what bad fortune hides within. Who knows where this process will end? There is no fixed norm. What is correct becomes defective. What is good becomes ominous. People have long been confused by this. Therefore, the sage is sharp but does not cut. pointed but does not pierce, forthright but does not offend, bright but does not dazzle. In serving others and cultivating oneself, nothing is better than moderation. Moderation means restraining desire. To restrain desire is to accumulate virtue by living in accordance with nature. By accumulating virtue, there is nothing that cannot be overcome. When nothing cannot be overcome, one's capacity has no limit. When one's capacity has no limit, one is fit to govern a state. To govern through accumulated virtue in accordance with the Tao is to have deep roots and a firm foundation. This is how things endure for a long time. Governing a large country is like frying a small fish. Too much handling ruins it. Center the country in the Tao, and harmful forces lose their power. Not that they disappear, but that they no longer harm people, nor does the sage harm anyone. Since neither harms the other, their virtues merge and return to all. A great state is like low-lying land, toward which all streams flow. It is the reservoir of the world, the feminine of the world. The feminine overcomes the masculine through stillness. By remaining calm and quiet, it takes the lower position. Therefore, a great state, by taking the lower position, wins over the small state. A small state, by taking the lower position, places itself under the protection of the great state. Thus, one takes the lower position in order to unite. The other takes the lower position in order to be protected. What the great state desires is to shelter and care for others. What the small state desires is to be protected. If each finds its proper place, it is fitting that the great state take the lower position. The Tao is the source of all things. It is the treasure of the good and the refuge of the bad. Fine words can win honor. Fine deeds can earn respect. If a person is bad, do not abandon them. When a new leader is chosen, do not offer help through wealth or clever skills. Offer instead to guide them in the Tao. Why did the ancient masters value the Tao so highly? Because one who is aligned with the Tao finds what they seek, and when they err, they are forgiven. That is why the Tao is the most noble thing in the world. Act in accordance with nature. Manage without meddling. Taste without craving flavor. Attend to the small. Increase from the few. Confront difficulty while it is still easy. Accomplish great tasks through a series of small acts. The sage never reaches for greatness. Thus greatness is achieved. Easy promises earn little trust. Taking things lightly leads to great difficulty. Therefore, the sage always treats things as difficult, and so encounters no difficulty throughout life. Stillness is easy to maintain. What has not yet emerged is easy to prevent. The brittle is easy to break. The small is easy to scatter. Prevent trouble before it arises. Manage disorder before it appears. A tree as wide as a man's embrace rose from a tiny sprout. A tower of 9 stories begins with a pile of earth. A journey of 1,000 miles starts beneath one's feet. Those who act with desire will fail. Those who try to possess will lose. The sage does not act with desire, and so does not fail, does not grasp, and so does not lose. People often fail when they are close to success. Give as much care to the end as to the beginning, and there will be no failure. Therefore, the sage seeks to have no desire. He does not value rare goods. He learns what others overlook. He helps people return from their missteps. He assists all things in following their natural course, and does not presume to act in their place. Those in ancient times who were adept in the Tao did not use it to make the people clever, but to keep them simple. The reason people are difficult to govern is because they are overly clever. Therefore, one who rules a nation through cleverness brings harm to the country. One who does not rule through cleverness is a blessing to the nation. These are the two ways of governing. To understand them is to possess profound virtue. This profound virtue reaches far and wide and returns all things to great harmony. The river and the sea can be kings of 100 streams because they lie below them. Therefore, if a sage wishes to stand above the people, he must speak to them from below. If he wishes to lead the people, he must place himself behind them. Thus, when the sage stands above the people, they do not feel oppressed. When he leads the people, they do not feel obstructed. The whole world supports him and never grows weary of him. Because he competes with no one can compete with him. Everyone says the Tao is great and unconventional. It is precisely because it is unconventional that it can be great. If it were conventional, it would long ago have become insignificant. I have 3 treasures that I cherish. The first is compassion. The second is moderation. The third is humility. From compassion comes courage. From moderation comes generosity. From humility comes leadership. To be brave without compassion, generous without moderation, or to lead without humility, all lead to destruction. Through compassion, one triumphs in attack and remains secure in defense. It is through compassion that the Tao protects and preserves. One who truly cultivates the Tao does not use force. A skilled warrior does not lose his temper. A great conqueror does not engage in conflict. A true leader remains humble. This is called the virtue of non-strife. This is the virtue of empowering others. This is to be in harmony with the Tao, the highest principle known to the ancients. There is a saying among soldiers, "I dare not make the first move, but would rather remain on the defensive. I dare not advance an inch, but would rather retreat a foot." This is called advancing without advancing, repelling without force, confronting without engaging, and waging war without deploying troops. No disaster is greater than underestimating the enemy. To underestimate the enemy is to risk losing one's treasures. Therefore, when evenly matched forces meet, the one who acts with compassion and humility will prevail. My words are very easy to understand and very easy to practice. yet no one in the world understands them or puts them into practice. My words have ancient roots. All things follow their guiding principles. Because people do not understand this, they do not understand me. Those who understand me are few. Therefore, what I teach is precious. Thus, the sage wears plain clothes on the outside, but carries jade within his bosom. Knowing that one does not know is strength. Pretending to know when one does not know is a disease. The sage is free from this disease because he recognizes it as a disease. Therefore, he is free from it. When people no longer fear force, greater force will arise. Do not intrude into people's homes. Do not disrupt their livelihood. Only when you do not oppress them will they not grow weary of you. Therefore, the sage knows himself but does not display himself, values himself but does not exalt himself. One who is brave through bold recklessness leads himself to death. One who is brave in accord with the Tao preserves himself. Of these two kinds of bravery, one is harmful and one is beneficial. Why this is so, even the sage finds it hard to explain. The way of the Tao does not contend, yet it prevails. It does not speak, yet it responds. It does not summon, yet things come of themselves. It appears to be at rest, yet it always has its order. The law of nature is like a vast net, wide and far-reaching. Though its mesh is coarse, nothing escapes it. If the people are not afraid of death, why threaten them with death? If the people fear death, and those who break the law are put to death, who would dare to break the law? People are born of nature, and it is nature that ends their lives. Nature alone is the appointed executioner. To try to take the place of this executioner is like trying to carve wood in place of a master carpenter. Of those who attempt to carve in place of the master, few do not injure their own hands. Why are the people starving? Because those above them tax them heavily. That is why the people are starving. Why are the people difficult to govern? Because those above them interfere too much. That is why the people are difficult to govern. Why do the people take death lightly? Because those above them pursues after luxurious life and depletes the people. That is why the people take death lightly. Therefore, those who do not pursue life's pleasures excessively understand life better than those who cling too tightly to it. People are born soft and supple, they die stiff and rigid. All things, grass and trees, are soft and supple when alive, but withered and dry when dead. Thus the hard and stiff are companions of death. The soft and yielding are companions of life. Therefore, an army that relies on brute force will not prevail. A rigid tree will be broken. The way of the Tao is like drawing a bow. What is high is lowered. What is low is raised. What is excessive is reduced, and what is deficient is replenished. The Tao reduces excess and fills what is lacking. The way of people is not so. They take from the lacking and give to the excessive. Who takes what is excessive and gives it to the world? Only one who follows the Tao. Nothing in the world is softer or more yielding than water, yet nothing surpasses it in overcoming the hard and the strong, because it can go where nothing else can. Everyone knows that the soft overcomes the hard, and the weak overcomes the strong, yet few are able to put this into practice. Therefore the sage says, "He who takes upon himself the nation's disgrace is fit to be the ruler of the land. He who takes upon himself the nation's misfortune is fit to be the king of the world." True words often appear paradoxical. After a bitter dispute, some resentment is sure to remain. What can be done about it? Therefore the sage keeps his side of the agreement, but does not press others for their due. A person of virtue holds agreements. A person without virtue insists on exacting compliance. The way of nature is impartial, yet it always favors the good. Let there be a small state with few people. Though there are weapons enough for tens of thousands, they will not be used. Let people take death seriously and not travel far. Though there are boats and carriages, they will not ride them. Though there are armor and weapons, there will be no need to display them. Let people return to tying knots in cords. Their food will be satisfying. Their clothing will be comfortable. Their dwellings will be peaceful. They will delight in their daily lives. Neighboring states may be within sight of one another, and the sounds of roosters and dogs may be heard across the borders. Yet people will grow old and die without ever visiting one another. True words are not pleasing. Pleasing words are not true. Kind people do not argue. Those who argue are not kind. Those who know are not learned. Those who are learned do not know. The sage does not possess. The more he does for others, the more he has. The more he gives to others, the more he receives. The way of nature is to benefit and not to harm. The way of the Tao accomplishes without contending.